We hope you enjoy this story. Let's begin. Gabriel Winters pulled into the driveway, his headlights cutting through the evening darkness. The client meeting had run late, and a dull throb pulsed behind his eyes. As he approached the front door, he noticed the dim glow from the living room window. Olivia usually had all the lights blazing. She was home alone. He entered quietly, not wanting to startle his pregnant wife if she was napping. But as he rounded the corner into the living room, he saw her sitting rigidly on the couch, staring blankly ahead. Liv? Everything okay? She turned to him, her face a mask of anguish. Gabriel, we need to talk. The hairs on the back of his neck stood up. He sat down heavily in the armchair across from her, dread pooling in his stomach. What's wrong? Olivia took a shuddering breath. Honey, this baby is the result of a revenge affair. Gabriel blinked. Sure, he had misheard. What? What are you talking about? I thought you had cheated on me. So I slept with someone else. Her voice was barely above a whisper. He stared at her, uncomprehending. The words didn't make sense. Olivia, his Olivia, having an affair. It was impossible. And yet, you're 6 months pregnant, he said slowly. Are you saying? She nodded, tears spilling down her cheeks. The baby isn't yours. I'm so sorry, Gabriel. The room seemed to tilt sideways. Gabriel gripped the arms of the chair, his knuckles turning white. Who? He demanded. Who did you sleep with? Olivia shook her head. I can't tell you that. You can't tell me? His voice rose. You dropped this bombshell on me, and now you're keeping secrets? Please try to understand. Understand what? Gabriel surged to his feet. That my wife cheated on me. That she's carrying another man's child. What exactly am I supposed to understand here, Olivia? She flinched at his tone. I know I've hurt you terribly. But please let me explain. Explain? There's nothing to explain. He was shouting now, unable to contain the maelstrom of emotions. That's your mess, not mine. All the best for raising a baby alone. He turned on his heel, striding towards the door. He had to get out of there before he said or did something he'd regret. Wait, Olivia called desperately. You might want to hear a secret about your brother, Marcus. Gabriel froze, his hand on the doorknob. What about Marcus? Olivia's voice trembled. He showed me photos of you with another woman. That's why I thought you had cheated. Gabriel turned back slowly, his mind reeling. Photos? What photos? They showed you with a blonde woman. Hugging her, kissing her cheek. Marcus said he'd seen you together multiple times. That's impossible, Gabriel said flatly. I've never cheated on you. Olivia's eyes widened. But the photos were fake, or taken out of context. Gabriel's jaw clenched as the pieces started falling into place. Marcus manipulated you. God. Olivia buried her face in her hands. What have I done? Gabriel stood there, torn between rage at his brother and the lingering betrayal from his wife. Without another word, he wrenched open the door and stormed out into the night. The drive to Marcus's downtown apartment was a blur. Rain lashed against the windshield, matching Gabriel's turbulent mood. He barely registered the familiar streets of Ravenwood as he sped through the small coastal town. He pounded on Marcus's door, not caring about the late hour. When his brother finally opened up, looking disheveled and confused, Gabriel shoved past him into the apartment. What the hell, Gabe? Marcus stumbled back. What are you doing here? Show me the photos, Gabriel growled. Marcus blinked. What photos? Don't play dumb. The ones you showed Olivia. Of me supposedly cheating. Understanding dawned on Marcus's face, quickly followed by panic. I don't know what you're talking about. Cut the crap. Gabriel advanced on his brother. You manipulated my wife into thinking I was unfaithful. Why? Marcus backed away, hands raised. Look, you've got it all wrong. I was just trying to protect you. Protect me? Gabriel laughed bitterly. By destroying my marriage? No, Marcus's back hit the wall. It's complicated, okay? I can explain everything, then start explaining. Now, but as Marcus opened his mouth, Gabriel's patience snapped. He lunged forward, grabbing his brother by the shirt collar and slamming him against the wall. A framed painting crashed to the floor, the glass shattering. Tell me the truth, Gabriel roared. Marcus's eyes darted to the fallen painting, then back to Gabriel. Something in his expression made Gabriel pause. He glanced down, noticing for the first time the outline of a safe revealed behind a broken frame. "What's in there?" he demanded. "Nothing," Marcus said quickly. Too quickly. Gabriel released his brother and strode to the safe. "Open it. Come on, Gabe. This is ridiculous." "Open the safe." Marcus hesitated, then slumped in defeat. He input the code with trembling fingers. The safe door swung open, revealing stacks of documents. Gabriel rifled through the papers, his expression darkening with each page. "What the hell is this, Marcus? These look like fraudulent real estate deals." Marcus sank onto the couch, his head in his hands. "It wasn't supposed to go this far," he mumbled. "What wasn't?" His brother looked up, defeat etched on his face. "I've been involved in a real estate scheme. Your firm was unknowingly part of some of the projects. I was afraid you'd figure it out, So you tried to break up my marriage?" Gabriel's voice was dangerously quiet. To distract me." Marcus nodded miserably. "I'm sorry, Gabe. I never meant for things to get so out of hand." Gabriel stared at his brother, a stranger wearing a familiar face. Without another word, he gathered up the incriminating documents and walked out, leaving Marcus alone with the wreckage of his schemes. The house was dark when Gabriel returned. He called out for Olivia, but received no answer. A quick search confirmed his suspicions. She was gone. He sank onto the bed, head spinning from the night's revelations. As he shifted, something hard dug into his leg. Frowning, he reached into his pocket and pulled out Olivia's phone. He must have grabbed it by mistake in his haste to confront Marcus. Gabriel stared at the device, debating. He had never invaded Olivia's privacy before. But after everything that had happened, his thumb hovered over the power button. Then, with a deep breath, he pressed it. The screen lit up, revealing a pattern lock. Gabriel's hand shook slightly as he traced the familiar shape, their wedding date. The phone unlocked. He hesitated again before opening her email app. If there was any information about her whereabouts, it would be there. What he found instead made his blood run cold. Months of emails between Olivia and someone named Elena Vasquez. Talk of investigations, evidence gathering, coded messages about meetings. Gabriel's eyes widened as he pieced together the truth. Olivia hadn't been having an affair. She'd been investigating Marcus and his co-conspirators all along. He scrolled frantically, looking for the most recent messages. There are a meeting scheduled for tonight, at the old Ravenwood lighthouse. Gabriel was halfway to the door when his phone buzzed. An unknown number. He opened the message. It read, "Stop digging. For your own good." Whatever was going on, he was going to get to the bottom of it. And he was going to find Olivia. The old Ravenwood lighthouse loomed before Gabriel, a weathered sentinel against the darkening sky. Wind whipped at his clothes as he picked his way up the rocky path, the beam of his flashlight dancing erratically over the uneven ground. The air tasted of salt and impending storm. He paused at the base of the structure, his mind racing. Olivia had been investigating Marcus all along. The affair, the pregnancy, it was all a ruse. But why? And who was this Elena Vasquez? The door creaked open at his touch, rust flaking off the hinges. Gabriel stepped inside, blinking as his eyes adjusted to the gloom. A figure stood silhouetted against the far window. "Olivia," he called out, hope and trepidation warring in his chest. The figure turned. Not Olivia, a woman with short, dark hair and sharp eyes. "You must be Gabriel," she said. "I'm Elena Vasquez." Gabriel tensed. "Where's my wife?" Elena held up her hands. "Olivia's safe. She couldn't make it tonight. She asked me to fill you in." "Fill me in on what exactly?" "On the truth." Elena gestured for him to sit. "I know this must all be very confusing for you." Gabriel remained standing. "You could say that. My wife is pregnant with another man's child. My brother is involved in some kind of fraud scheme. And now I find out Olivia's been working with you on, what? An investigation." Elena nodded. "Olivia suspected something was off with your brother's business dealings months ago. She reached out to me. I'm an investigative journalist. We've been gathering evidence on a massive real estate fraud operation." "And the affair?" Gabriel's voice cracked slightly on the word. "A cover story," Elena said gently, "to explain Olivia's absences and odd behavior while she was helping me investigate. There was never any other man, Gabriel. Olivia loves you more than anything." Gabriel sank onto a nearby crate, his head spinning. "Why didn't she tell me?" She wanted to protect you, and she was afraid you wouldn't believe her. Not without proof. Elena opened her mouth to continue, but a sudden crackling sound made them both freeze. Her eyes widened. We need to get out of here. Now. Before Gabriel could ask why, a deafening boom shook the lighthouse. The floor beneath them lurched, and he barely managed to grab Elena's arm as they both stumbled. What the hell was that? He shouted over the ringing in his ears. Someone doesn't want us talking, Elena said. She tried the door, but it wouldn't budge. They've sealed us in. Gabriel looked around wildly. There has to be another way out. They searched frantically, acutely aware of the groaning sounds coming from the lighthouse's damaged lower levels. Dust and debris rained down from above as the structure swayed ominously. Here, Elena called, her voice tight with urgency. I think I found something. Gabriel rushed over. Elena was crouched by a section of floorboards that looked slightly different from the rest. Together, they pried them up, revealing a dark opening beneath. A trapdoor, Gabriel breathed. Where does it lead? Elena shook her head. No idea. But it's our only option. With one last glance at the creaking lighthouse above them, they lowered themselves into the inky blackness below. The air in the tunnel was thick with dust and the musty scent of long-forgotten secrets. Gabriel and Elena moved cautiously, their path illuminated only by the weak beam of Gabriel's phone flashlight. Watch your step, Elena warned, her voice echoing slightly in confined space. No telling how stable these tunnels are. Gabriel nodded, his mind racing. How deep do you think this network goes? Physically or metaphorically? Elena's tone was grim. Because I have a feeling we're about to find out on both counts. They pressed on, the tunnel gradually widening. Gabriel noticed rough-hewn offshoots branching in various directions. It's like a maze down here, he muttered. Elena paused, consulting a small device she'd pulled from her pocket. I think we're heading towards the center of town, she said. These tunnels must connect key locations. As if on cue, they rounded a corner and found themselves in a larger chamber. Faint light filtered through a grate above, revealing the outlines of filing cabinets and a makeshift desk. What is this place? Gabriel whispered. Elena was already rifling through the papers strewn across the desk. It's an office, she said, her excitement barely contained. And if I'm not mistaken, we've just stumbled onto the heart of the conspiracy. Gabriel joined her, his architect's eye taking in the crude maps tacked to the walls. These are blueprints, he realized. But they're all wrong. The dimensions, the materials listed, none of it matches the official plans I've worked on. Exactly, Elena nodded. They're using your firm's reputation to push through substandard, dangerous projects. And look at this, she held up a document. Signatures from the mayor, the bank president, even the chief of police. They're all in on it. Gabriel's stomach churned. How deep does this go? Before Elena could answer, the sound of approaching voices made them both freeze. Gabriel quickly doused the light on his phone, plunging them into near darkness. Can't believe that idiot Marcus let his brother find out, a gravelly voice was saying. If word gets out about this operation, we're all finished. Relax, another voice replied. Gabriel's blood ran cold as he recognized it, Richard Blackwood, the mayor of Ravenwood. We've got it under control. The lighthouse has been taken care of, and we'll find Gabriel soon enough. The voices faded as the unseen men passed by their hiding spot. Gabriel and Elena remained motionless, hardly daring to breathe. We need to get this evidence out, Elena whispered once the coast was clear. It's bigger than we thought. The whole town leadership is corrupt. Gabriel nodded, his jaw set. Let's grab what we can, and... His words were cut off by the sudden buzzing of his phone. He glanced down, his heart stopping as he saw the incoming video call. Marcus. With trembling fingers, he accepted the call. His brother's face filled the screen, cold smile twisting his features. Hello, little brother, Marcus said. I think there's someone here who wants to talk to you. The camera panned, revealing Olivia bound to a chair, fear etched on her face. Gabriel, she cried out. Marcus's face reappeared. Here's the deal. You and your nosy journalist friend destroy all the evidence you found, or Olivia suffers the consequences. You have 1 hour to comply. The call cut off abruptly, leaving Gabriel staring at the blank screen in horror. Elena touched his arm gently. Gabriel, what are we going to do? He looked at her, conflict raging in his eyes. I don't know, he said hoarsely. But we're running out of time. The tunnel seemed to close in around them as Gabriel and Elena made their way towards the exit, arms laden with incriminating documents. The weight of the evidence was nothing compared to the burden of the choice that lay before them. "We can't give in to Marcus's demands," Elena said, her voice tight. "This goes beyond just your family now. The entire town is at stake." Gabriel's jaw clenched. "And what about Olivia? My wife, my child, I can't just abandon them." They emerged from a hidden entrance near the town hall, blinking in the harsh light of day. The streets were oddly quiet, as if the town itself was holding its breath. "We need to think this through," Elena said, glancing around nervously. "Maybe there's a way to save Olivia and expose the truth." Gabriel nodded, his mind racing. "The mayor's office. If we can confront Blackwood directly, maybe we can force his hand." They made their way to the imposing building, its pristine facade a mockery of the corruption festering within. The receptionist's eyes widened as they burst in, but a flash of Elena's press badge bought them just enough hesitation to slip past. Mayor Blackwood looked up in surprise as they entered his office unannounced. His genial politician's smile faltered as he took in their grim expressions and the stack of papers in Elena's arms. "Mr. Winters, Ms. Vasquez," he said, recovering quickly. "To what do I owe this unexpected pleasure?" "Cut the act, Blackwood," Gabriel growled. "We know everything. The fraud, the cover-ups, all of it." The mayor's eyes hardened. "I'm sure I don't know what you're talking about." Elena stepped forward, spreading the damning documents across his desk. "Your signature is on every one of these, Mr. Mayor. Care to explain how your name ended up on plans for structurally unsound buildings? Or these memos discussing bribes to city officials?" Blackwood's facade cracked. He glanced at the door, then back at them. "You have no idea what you're getting into," he said, his voice low. "This goes beyond just our little town. There are powerful people involved, people who won't hesitate to." "To what?" Gabriel interrupted. "Threaten innocent lives? Destroy families? It's a bit late for that." The mayor's expression shifted, a calculating look entering his eyes. "Perhaps we can come to an arrangement," he said smoothly. "I'm sure we can find a mutually beneficial solution. One that ensures everyone's safety and financial security." Elena's lip curled in disgust. "Are you trying to bribe us?" "I prefer to think of it as a business proposition," Blackwood replied. "One that could make all of your problems disappear." Gabriel stepped forward, looming over the desk. "The only thing that's going to disappear is you straight into a prison cell." The mayor's hand inched towards a button beneath his desk, but Elena was faster. She pulled out her phone, a triumphant smile on her face. "I wouldn't do that if I were you," she said. "This entire conversation has been streaming live to my news network." "It's over, Blackwood." The color drained from the mayor's face. For a moment, the only sound in the room was the ticking of an ornate clock on the wall. Then chaos erupted. The door burst open, revealing a pair of burly police officers. "Mayor Blackwood," one of them said gruffly. "Is everything all right in here?" Gabriel's heart sank as he realized these weren't the cavalry. They were Blackwood's muscle. "Arrest them," the mayor snapped, all pretense of civility gone. "Conspiracy, trespassing, attempted extortion, take your pick." The officers advanced, but Gabriel and Elena were already moving. They ducked under grasping arms, Elena clutching the evidence to her chest as they bolted for the door. The hallway became a blur as they ran, shouts and pounding footsteps close behind. Gabriel's lungs burned, but the thought of Olivia, still in danger, spurred him on. They burst out of the building, immediately splitting up as planned. Gabriel veered left, drawing their pursuers away from Elena and the precious documents. He ducked down alleys and vaulted fences, his architect's knowledge of the town's layout giving him a slight edge. But as he rounded a corner, a sharp pain lanced through his side. He stumbled, realizing with horror that one of the officers had managed to clip him with a wild shot. Gasping, he pressed himself against a wall, trying to staunch the bleeding. His phone buzzed, another message from Marcus. With trembling fingers, he opened it. Coordinates, followed by 5 chilling words. "Last chance. Come along. Hurry." Gabriel closed his eyes, the weight of everything crashing down upon him. Olivia needed him. The town needed him. And he was quickly running out of time to save either. With a grimace of pain, he pushed himself off the wall and began to run once more, praying he was making the right choice. Gabriel's car skidded to a stop in front of the abandoned warehouse, gravel crunching beneath the tires. The pain in his side throbbed with each labored breath, a constant reminder of how close he'd come to failure. But he couldn't think about that now. Olivia needed him. The rusted metal door groaned as he pushed it open, revealing a cavernous interior shrouded in shadows. Dust motes danced in the feeble shafts of light filtering through grimy windows. Gabriel's eyes darted around, searching for any sign of movement. "Olivia," he called out, his voice echoing in the empty space. A muffled sound from the far corner drew his attention. There, illuminated by a single naked bulb, sat Olivia. She was bound to a chair, her eyes wide with fear and relief as she saw him. Gabriel rushed forward, his heart pounding. "It's okay, I'm here," he said, fumbling with the ropes binding her wrists. "I'm going to get you out of here." "Gabriel, behind you!" Olivia cried out. He spun around, coming face to face with the barrel of a gun. Marcus stepped out of the shadows, a cold smile twisting his features. "Hello, little brother," Marcus said, his voice dripping with disdain. "So nice of you to join us." Gabriel raised his hand slowly, mind racing. Marcus put the gun down. "It's over. Elena's already exposed everything to the media." Marcus's laugh was harsh and bitter. "You think I care about that? This was never just about the money, Gabriel. This is about you. It's always been about you. What are you talking about?" Marcus's eyes flashed with a lifetime of resentment. "Perfect Gabriel. Mom and Dad's golden child. The successful architect with the picture-perfect life. Do you have any idea what it's like living in your shadow?" Gabriel shook his head, bewildered. "Marcus, I never." "Shut up," Marcus roared, the gun shaking in his grip. "You don't get to play innocent. Not anymore. You took everything from me, and now I'm going to take everything from you." He swung the gun towards Olivia, his finger tightening on the trigger. Time seemed to slow down. Gabriel saw the fear in Olivia's eyes, saw the madness in his brother's, and knew he had only seconds to act. He lunged forward, tackling Marcus just as the gun went off. The shot went wide, the bullet embedding itself in a nearby support beam. They grappled on the dusty floor, each fighting for control of the weapon. In the chaos, neither noticed Olivia. She had been working at her bonds throughout the confrontation, and with a final, desperate effort, she managed to free herself. She stumbled to her feet, searching frantically for something to use as a weapon. Gabriel and Marcus rolled across the floor, trading blows. Despite his injury, Gabriel fought with the strength of desperation. He couldn't let Marcus win. Not now, not after everything. Suddenly, Marcus's grip on the gun slipped. The weapon skittered across the concrete floor, coming to rest at Olivia's feet. She snatched it up, hands trembling as she aimed it at the struggling brothers. "Stop," she shouted. "Both of you, stop right now." They froze, looking up at her. For a moment, the only sound in the warehouse was their ragged breathing. Then, from outside, came the distant wail of police sirens. Marcus's face contorted with rage. He shoved Gabriel aside and made a desperate dash for the exit. But Gabriel, running on pure adrenaline, managed to tackle him once more. They crashed into a stack of old crates, sending debris flying. As the sirens grew louder, Gabriel pinned his brother to the ground. "It's over, Marcus," he panted. "Just give up." Marcus went limp, the fight draining out of him. As Gabriel cautiously released him, he saw not the monster of the past few days, but the broken shell of the brother he once knew. The warehouse doors burst open, flooding the space with harsh light. Elena rushed in, followed by a team of state police officers. "Gabriel." "Olivia," Elena called out. "Are you all right?" As the officers swarmed in, securing Marcus and checking on Olivia, Gabriel felt the adrenaline begin to fade. The pain in his side returned full force, and he sank to his knees, exhausted. It was over. They were safe. But as he looked at Olivia's tear-streaked face and his brother being led away in handcuffs, Gabriel knew that the Real reckoning was only just beginning. The state police headquarters buzzed with activity. Gabriel sat on an uncomfortable plastic chair, a bandage wrapped around his torso where the bullet had grazed him. Across the room, Olivia was giving her statement to a detective, her voice too low for him to hear. Elena paced nearby, firing off rapid text messages to her editor. "This is going to blow the lid off everything," she muttered. "The mayor, the police chief, half the city council. Ravenwood will never be the same." Gabriel nodded absently, his mind still reeling from the events of the past few days. It felt like a lifetime ago that he had come home to find Olivia in their dimly lit living room, confessing to an affair that never happened. A door opened, and a grim-faced officer approached. "Mr. Winters, we're ready for your statement now." For the next 2 hours, Gabriel recounted everything. The fake affair, Marcus's manipulation, the hidden documents, the underground tunnels. With each revelation, the officer's eyebrows climbed higher. "And you're certain about Mayor Blackwood's involvement?" the officer asked. Gabriel nodded. "Elena has the recording of our confrontation in his office, and there are documents linking him to the fraudulent construction projects." The officer made a note, then hesitated. "There's one more thing, Mr. Winters. Your brother is requesting to speak with you." Gabriel's stomach clenched. "I don't think that's a good idea." "I understand. But he's been cooperating, providing names and details. His testimony could be crucial in bringing down the entire network." With a heavy sigh, Gabriel agreed. He was led to an interrogation room where Marcus sat, looking small and defeated in his orange jumpsuit. "Gabriel," Marcus said, his voice hoarse. I'm sorry. For everything." Gabriel said nothing, waiting. Marcus continued, unable to meet his eyes. "I know it doesn't change anything, but I want you to know. I never meant for it to go this far. I was angry and jealous, and then I got in too deep with the wrong people. But I never wanted to hurt Olivia. Or you. But you did," Gabriel said quietly. "You hurt us both." Marcus nodded, a tear sliding down his cheek. "I know. And I'll spend the rest of my life trying to make amends. Starting with telling the police everything I know." As Gabriel left the room, he felt a strange mix of emotions. Relief that the truth was finally coming out, anger at his brother's betrayal, and a deep, aching sadness for the relationship that would never be the same. He found Olivia waiting for him in the hallway. She looked exhausted, dark circles under her eyes. "Can we talk?" she asked softly. "Somewhere private." They found an empty conference room. For a long moment, they just looked at each other, the weight of unspoken words hanging between them. Finally, Olivia broke the silence. "There's something I need to tell you, Gabriel. Something I should have told you months ago." Gabriel braced himself, unsure of what new revelation could possibly be left. Olivia took a deep breath. "The baby, it's not the result of an affair. I used a sperm donor." Gabriel blinked, uncomprehending. "What? But why would you?" "Because you can't have children," Olivia said gently. "I found out when I was looking into fertility treatments. The doctors ran some tests, and you're infertile, Gabriel." The room seemed to tilt sideways. Gabriel gripped the edge of the table, his mind reeling. That's impossible. Why didn't you tell me?" Olivia's eyes filled with tears. "I didn't know how. You were so excited about starting a family, and I panicked. I thought if I could just get pregnant, everything would work out somehow. The fake affair was a way to explain it when I couldn't figure out how to tell you the truth." Gabriel sat heavily in a chair, overwhelmed. "So everything, the affair, the investigation, all of it was because I was a coward," Olivia finished. "I was trying to protect you, but I just made everything worse. I'm so sorry, Gabriel." He looked at her, this woman he had loved for so long, now almost a stranger. I need some time," he said finally, "to process all of this." Olivia nodded, wiping away a tear. "I understand. Take all the time you need. I'll be here when you're ready to talk." As Gabriel left the police station, stepping out into the cool night air, he felt as if he was seeing the world through new eyes. Everything he thought he knew had been turned upside down. His marriage, his family, his future, nothing was certain anymore. He walked aimlessly through the streets of Ravenwood, a town he no longer recognized. As the first light of dawn began to break over the horizon, Gabriel realized that this was more than just the end of a nightmare. It was the beginning of something entirely new, and he had no idea where it would lead. 6 months later, Gabriel sat in his new apartment, staring out the window at the bustling street below. The room was sparsely furnished. He hadn't had the heart to decorate much. It still didn't feel like home. On the television, a news anchor droned on about the latest developments in what the media had dubbed the Ravenwood scandal. With the conviction of former Mayor Richard Blackwood and several prominent businessmen, the town of Ravenwood is finally starting to rebuild. New leadership has promised transparency and accountability. Gabriel tuned it out. He'd lived through enough of the scandal. He didn't need the constant reminders. A knock at the door roused him from his thoughts. He opened it to find Elena standing there, a wide smile on her face. "I hope I'm not interrupting," she said, holding up a bottle of champagne. "Oh, but I thought we might have cause for celebration." Gabriel managed a small smile. "Come on in. What's the occasion?" Elena set the bottle on the kitchen counter and pulled out a small envelope. "I won the Pulitzer," she said, a hint of disbelief in her voice. "For the Ravenwood investigation." "Elena, that's incredible," Gabriel said, genuinely happy for her. "Congratulations." As Elena poured the champagne, Gabriel's phone buzzed. A text from Olivia. "On my way up. Hope that's still okay." He took a deep breath, steeling himself. "Olivia's coming," he told Elena. "She should be here any minute." Elena nodded, understanding in her eyes. "Do you want me to go?" Gabriel shook his head. "No, stay. Please." A few minutes later, another knock came. Gabriel opened the door to find Olivia standing there, her belly now swollen with the final stages of pregnancy. "Hi," she said softly. "Thanks for seeing me." Gabriel stepped aside to let her in. For a moment, the three of them stood awkwardly in the small living room. "I should go," Elena said, sensing the tension. "Gabriel, Olivia, congratulations again." "On everything." After she left, Gabriel and Olivia sat on opposite ends of the couch. The silence stretched between them, filled with months of unspoken words. Finally, Gabriel spoke. "How are you feeling?" Olivia rubbed her belly absently. "Huge. Uncomfortable. Excited. Terrified. All of the above." Gabriel nodded. "Yeah, I know the feeling." Olivia looked at him, hope and fear warring in her eyes. "Gabriel, I know we've been going to counseling, and I know you said you needed time. I need to know where we stand." Gabriel was quiet for a long moment, gathering his thoughts. "I'm still processing everything," he said finally. "The lies, the deception. It hurt Olivia. More than I can say." She nodded, tears welling in her eyes. "But," Gabriel continued, "these past few months have forced me to confront a lot of things. My own fears about fatherhood. My insecurities. The way I've always tried to be perfect, to live up to everyone's expectations." He took a deep breath. "I can't say I'm over it all, but I do know that I want to be a part of this child's life. Our child's life. If you'll let me." Olivia's tears spilled over. "Of course," she whispered. "That's all I've ever wanted." Gabriel reached out, hesitantly taking her hand. "I can't promise it will be easy. We have a lot of trust to rebuild. But I think we have a chance at something new. Something honest." Olivia squeezed his hand. "I know I hurt you, Gabriel, and I will spend the rest of my life trying to make up for that. But I promise you, from this moment on, nothing but the truth between us." As they sat there, hands clasped, the future stretching out before them uncertain but full of possibility, Gabriel felt something he hadn't in a long time: hope. The road ahead would be difficult. There were still wounds to heal, trust to rebuild. But as he looked at Olivia, at the life they had created together despite everything, Gabriel knew that they had been given a rare second chance. And this time, they would build their life on a foundation of honesty, forgiveness, and love. This is where our story comes to an end. Share your thoughts in the comments section. Thanks for your precious time. If you enjoyed this story, then please make sure you subscribe to this channel. That would help me a lot. Click on the video you see on the screen, and I will see you there.